Folks, here we are again with tidbits from the Word. This is Brother Peter, and I had a real boo-boo on the number 1 of chapter 4 in the book of John. We had visited chapter 3, and then we came to chapter 4. And what happened to me is I was still talking, not paying attention to the time, and I ran out of time still talking. But I want to finish up today in that where we are right there in that book of chapter 4. We were on the 27th verse there, and we had been talking about the woman that had come to the well. Jesus came to the well to see this Samaritan woman. We had talked about how she knew all of the things about Jesus that she really shouldn't have known, because she was a Samaritan woman. She knew more than the Jews did about him. Why not? And then we know she had had 5 husbands, and then Jesus was going to give her this water to drink, and he said to her, "Woman," at 27, he said, "Upon this came his disciples, and they marveled that Jesus talked with this woman." They didn't dare say anything, though, because they knew Jesus knew what they was thinking anyway. "Yet no man said, What seekest thou, or why talkest thou with her? And the woman then left her water pots, and went her way unto the city, and saith to the men, Come see a man which told me all things that ever I did. Is not this the Christ? And then they went out of the city, and came unto him. Now she said to them, Is not this the Christ? So evidently in that town there had been some talk about this Christ coming around. It said, and in meanwhile his disciples prayed him, or bade him, saying, Master, eat. But he saith unto them, I have meat to eat that ye know not of. And I'm going to stop right here for a second, folks, and tell you, this is a new day, it's a new age, it's a new life, it's new people, but this book is words, is something to eat that you know not about. You get in this word sometimes, and you will pass by meal times and everything else in study, and you won't be hungry. You haven't got to eat food every minute all day of your life. You can eat a bunch of this food right here and be satisfied. I guarantee it. All right, verse 32. Therefore saith the disciples one to another, Hath any man brought him aught to eat? Jesus saith unto them, My meat is to do the will of him that sent me, and to finish his work. Say not ye, There are yet 4 months, and then cometh the harvest. Behold, I say unto you, Lift up your eyes, and look on the fields, for they are white already unto harvest. By the way, that verse is not changed, not one iota. The fields are still white unto harvest, and there's still time for us to get out there and do some harvesting. That's what we're called to do. He said, I'm going to call you, I'm going to make you fishers of men. And he's also made us harvesters. He said, if you will go out weeping in tears, you will definitely bring in the sheaves. And that's a picture of a farmer, but that's a picture of a man who has a burden for other people, who will go out weeping and go out and knock on doors, go out and talk to people, go out and get the poor, go out and get the woman at the well, go out and get the person that will come. By the way, I get real discouraged going out and talking a lot of times with these people that drive brand new cars and brand new trucks and live in brand new houses, and you can't hardly do anything with them. The Bible said that guy had the big party, and he invited all those nobles, and they didn't show up. And the head man said, I'll tell you what you do. You just go out and get all of the poor folk. You go out and get those that are maimed and halt and blind and lame. He said, you go get those. He said, bring them over here. We're going to feed them this food. The rest of them won't come. And I tell you what, I get out here nowadays, and I just feel like getting out there. I find the guy that's the most backward guy that I can find. Talk to him. You know what he'll say? He'll say, tell me about Jesus. You tell him, and you know what he'll say? He'll say, I want to get saved. I want to go to heaven too. Well, good. I want you to go to heaven. God does too. Jesus wants you to too. And he'll bow his head and ask the Lord to forgive him of his sin, come in his heart. He ain't ashamed. And he's not got all blocked up and all fancied up and got his pride stuck out between him and you so that he can't get saved. And all right, say not. Verse 36. He that reapeth receiveth wages, and gathereth fruit unto life eternal, that both he that soweth and he that reapeth may rejoice together. Now I guarantee you what, you go win a soul, you can rejoice with him. He said, and herein is that saying true, one soweth and another reapeth. And then verse 38, I sent you to reap that wherein ye bestowed no labor. Other men labored, and ye entered into their laborers. Now some other men had been in Samaria. Some other people had been in Samaria, had been talking to those Samaritans, and had told them the true story. And they labored over them. And then here comes along Jesus to the well, and here comes the disciples, and we're fixing to see a whole city come up there and follow this lady that went down there, and she told them, man, she's fixing to bring a whole city out there, and the whole city's going to get saved out there because somebody else had done some labor. And then Jesus came along. And then it said, and many of the Samaritans of that city believed on him for the saying of the woman which testified, he told me all that I ever knew. So when the Samaritans were come unto him, they besought him that he would tarry with them, and he would abide there 2 days. Now listen to this. This is good. Man, this is good. Because this is a Jewish fella. He would no more have been welcome in Samaria than the Samaritan would have been welcome in Jerusalem. But now they're welcoming him. They know who he is. They understand who he is, and they're welcome. By the way, the scribes and the Pharisees try to run him out of Jerusalem where he belonged. And here he is over in another place in Samaria, and here they're happy to see him, and they're glad to see him. And as many as who believe became as in his own word. And he said unto the woman, now we believe, now because of thy saying, for we have heard him ourselves, and know that this is indeed the Christ, listen to this, the Savior of the world. They knew that. They understood that he was the Christ, the Savior, and they believed it. Now, the Jews were looking for a Savior. They were looking for one, but they didn't. They rejected Jesus. They didn't believe it. But the Samaritans did. He said, now after 2 days, he departed thence and went unto Galilee. For Jesus himself testified that a prophet hath no honor in his own country. You see, he was near his own country there. And he didn't have no prophet. They didn't like him there. They wanted him to leave and get away from there. So they didn't like him there. So then when he was come to Galilee, the Galileans received him, having seen all the things that he did at Jerusalem at the feast, for they also went unto the feast. But you see, those folks didn't know what had just happened in Samaria. They were still dwelling on what happened over there in Jerusalem. And some of them didn't like him because they lost their income by the devils he cast out. Some of them didn't like him for other reasons. And they didn't like him because he embarrassed them or he revealed their sin. And then there was others that didn't like him for a lot of other reasons. And so, by the way, here we are in chapter 4, winding up chapter 4. And this has been Brother Peter with tidbits from the Word. If you want to get on a good station, get on WOAK.com, WOAK LaGrange, and listen to it.